The men stop singing as they see black smoke curling up into the desolate sky. The men slowly enter the smoking remains of a burnout village. It's silent except for the howling clang of a bronze prayer bell blown by the wind. Shang searches for survivors. They make their way among the ruins. Shang enters a charred home, narrowly escaping a falling beam. Yao and Ling look into the wagon, then turn away sadly. Mulan walks slowly through the village and stops as she sees a doll laying on the ground. It is the same doll Shan you held. She picks it up and lowers her head, filled with grief. Shan dismounts his horse and approaches her. Shang, I don't understand. My father should have been here. Shifu, Captain. Shang turns on to see Shifu standing on the bluff. Shang goes to look down to see the mass destruction of the army. Shang and Shaw. Shangpu comes up the hill holding a military helmet. Shangpu saddened. The general. Shang slowly takes his father's helmet and turns away as the rest of the troops gather along the bluff. Mulan sees Shang walk off and ceremonially plants his sword. He takes a moment, putting his father's helmet on top of the tribute. She goes to him. I'm sorry. Shang gathers his composure, rises and mounts his horse. Shang, to the men, the Huns are moving quickly. He points towards the mountains. Shang, we'll make better time to the Imperial City through the Sangshao Pass. Goes on Shang. Shang, we're the only hope for the Emperor now. Move out. The men slowly follow, leaving Mulan alone. Before she joins them, she lays the dolls beside the general's helmet as the wind howls. Sangshao Pass. Mulan and the troops, weary and cold, march towards the mountain pass. Bam! A rocket explodes from the munitions wagon. The troops stop and look up. Mulan turns and sees Mushu and the cricket. Sitting in the wagon, Mushu points a finger at the cricket. Mulan gives Mushu a look as Shang rides over to her. Shang, what happened? Mulan, Shang angrily you just blew any chance of surprising. Think. An arrow flies into Shang's armor, knocking him off the horse. From the mountain crest, a hail of flaming arrows fire towards them. The men in Mulan look up in surprise. Shang pulls the arrow out of his armor. Shang, get out of the range! The soldiers start to run as Hans up in the mountains launch hundreds of arrows. Several hit the munitions wagon, setting it on fire. Shang, save the cannons! The soldiers retrieve the cannons, heading for the rocks. Mulan starts to grab a cannon when, dunk, 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 a fresh onslaught of flaming arrows hit, attached to the wagon. Khan rears, whinnies. Mulan cuts him free and rides off just as the wagon explodes. Mulan and Khan are knocked to the ground. A beat before Mushu drops out of the sky in front of them. Mushu. Oh, sure. Save the horse. Mulan grabs him and heads towards the troop, positioned beside the rocks. On check. Directing the man. Shang, fire! Close on the fuse. Being limb. Boom. Mulan fires the troops, continuing fire. The troops continue fire, dislodging Hans from their sniper position. A row of cannons are grabbed, revealing Shifu cowering behind them. Shifu. The next line of men quickly position the cannons. The Huns launch another onslaught of arrows as the troops dug. Shang, fire! The troops set off their cannons. Boom! The mountain rocks from the explosion, sending Hans flying. Shang raises his hand. Shang, hold the last cannon. It's quiet as they look up toward an empty mountain. Mulan remains silent, watching, transfixed as the last wisp of smoke clear from the mountain slope. Then a lone horseman appears, followed by a massive line of Huns stretching out along the horizon. The faces of the men drop. They're doomed. Shifu. Oh. Shang turns to his man. Shang prepares for battle. If we die with honor. Up on the mountaintop, Shan Yu lets out a barbarian war cry and charges down the slope. Yeah! The entire group of Huns gallop toward them. Swords raised, Shang turns to Yao. Shang, Yao, aim to the cannon, Shan Yu. As Yao sets his sights, Mulan draws her sword and looks down at her blade, the mountain reflecting in it. She looks up at the mountain, then down to the approaching Huns. She sheathes her sword. Mulan pushes Yao outside and grabs the cannon. Yao, hey! She runs towards the Huns. Ping, come back! Ping! Ping! Khan whinnies as a troop reacts. What is he doing? Mushu pops out of Mulan's collar. Mushu, don't worry. I've got you covered. With whatever it is you're doing. Gasping, he sees the Huns charging straight towards him. Mushu, yup, I'm right behind you. He quickly ducks into her helmet. Shang runs after Mulan. Shang, stop! Mulan plants the cannon and aims at Shang Yu, galloping closer, the look of death on his face. Mushu, alright, you might want to light the thing right about now. Quickly, quickly. Mulan starts to light the flint when, bam, the falcon knocks it out of her hands and sends Mushu flying back into the snow. Mulan grabs Mushu and pulls on his tail. Whoosh, a flame shoots out of the mouth and lights the fuse. Mushu coughing. As the falcon flies off, Mulan sees Shan Yu, his sword drawn, right upon him. Mulan holds up the cannon to block his blow. He knocks it behind him. Zip, pan, the lit fuse, ready to go off any second. Shan Yu, his sword at Mulan. Shan Yu slashes his sword at Mulan. Mulan. Yao, Ling, and Shampoo stand on a ridge watching the confrontation. Yao, come on, we gotta help. They head down as Mulan barely escapes the blades of Shan Yu's sword. She dives under his swords, grabs the cannon and points it at Shan Yu. The rocket fires. Mushu hangs onto it as it flies high above Shan Yu's head. Mushu missed. How could you miss? He was 3 feet in front of you. Wham! The rocket lodges into an overhanging mountaintop. Mushu emerges from the smoking hole. The mountain suddenly explodes and crumbles, causing a huge avalanche. Shan Yu looks back at the thundering mountainside in shock. Mulan smiles, relieved her plan worked. Shang looks at her in surprise. She drops the cannon and grabs his hand as the avalanche spills towards him. The Han horde panics and flees. Yao, Ling, and Shampoo continue charging towards the Huns. Yao, they stop watching the avalanche bury the enemy. They start running into the opposite direction. Khan reacts and charges straight towards the avalanche. Shan Yu and his elite squad gallop for safety, but it's no use. It's no use. The avalanche, Shan Yu and his elite squad gallop for safety, but it's no use. The avalanche overtakes and buries them. Shan Yu. Mulan and Shan tries to outrun the snowy forest, but it's relentless. Khan gallops towards them. Mulan sees him, jumps on, then holds her hand out to Shan. Shan reaches for it. Oh, what happened? Shan reaches for it.
I'm through here. I'm not gonna fucking rat you out.
Oh.
Calm down.
Shan sees him, jumps on the whole. Mulan sees him, jumps on, then holds her hand to Shang. Shang reaches for her, only they're ripped apart by a giant sheet of whiteness. Up in the rock shelter, Yao Ling and Shampoo barely have time to jump behind the rocks as the avalanche thunders over the troops, safely enclosed. Continue. On the mountaintop, Mushu rides down on the shield, searching. Mulan, he sees some hair sticking out of the snow. Mulan? He pulls the head out, revealing the scary face of a Han. Han, Mushu, nope. He sees something else. Mushu, Mulan. He pulls up the cricket. Man, you are one lucky bug. The avalanche continues its course, sweeping Mulan and Khan away. Mulan gasps. They finally gain some solid footing. Then Mulan turns and sees a body sliding down the slope. Mulan. Shang! She rides up to him, lifts him into the forest, top of a ridge. Ling stands on Shampoo's shoulder, Yao beside them. Do you see them? Yes, go ahead. Yao aims and fires an arrow with rope attached. Perfect, now I'll pull them to safe. The rope slips out of his hand. Mulan and Khan forge up to the mountain. Shang unconscious, Mushu and the cricket and see them head over. Mushu holds up Shan Yu's sword. Hey, look what I found. Mulan grabs him. Mushu, I need a rope. Whack. Yao ropes files down beside them. Mulan grabs it. Mulan, thanks. She tosses Mushu behind her. He barely holds onto Khan's tail as it continues to slip down the mountain. Then he sees where they're heading, the edge of the cliff. Mushu, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. No. Can we survive this? Death is coming. Mulan ties one end of the rope to Khan's saddle, then picks up the other end. Attached to their arrow, she readies the arrow to shoot. They're sliding closer to the edge. They go over. As they start to fall, Mulan shoots the arrow upward. On the rocky ledge before the cliff, the soldiers gather around Yao, trying to comfort him. Yeah, I let them slip through my fingers. Whap! The rope and the arrow land in his hands. He grabs it and is yanked towards the edge of the rock. The troops grab onto Yao, but the momentum pulls them forward. Soldiers panicking. Shampao calmly approaches, picks them up in one huge group hug, and starts pulling them back. Down over the precipice. Mulan, Mushu, Khan, and Shan began their ascent. Mushu, if we dump this stuff, we'll get up much faster. He paused back into her saddlebag. The troops finally pulled him to safety. They encircle Mulan and Shang, exhausted but victorious. Ling, alright, let's give them some air. Who wants to see my blister? As they back off, Shang looks up at Mulan. Shang, Ping, you are the craziest man I've ever met. For that, I owe you my life. From now on, you have my trust. Off Mulan's smile, Shifu watches with disgust as the soldiers hoist Mulan on their soldier. Let's hear it for Ping. Shampoo throws her backwards. The soldiers catch her. Ling, the bravest of us all. Close on Mulan wider as they toss her in the air. Cheerling, Mulan smiled as they toss her again. Yao, you're king of the mountain. Mulan grabs her side. She lands in their arms, but before they can toss her again, guys, enough. Guys, enough. I've been tossed around too much today. Disappointed. Oh, okay, my turn. Mulan holds her side. Heading off in pain, she looks at her hand. It's covered with blood. Shang approaches. Shang smiles. Ping. Mulan stops. Mulan. Sir? Shang, I was thinking when we reach the Imperial City, I'd like to present Shan Yu's sword to the Emperor. He holds it out to her. Mulan. Surprise. May, sir? Shang should know what you've done. Because of you, no more lives will be taken. A beat as Mulan takes his in, she wishes she could say something to him, but he retains a quiet dignity. Mulan. I'll be honored, Captain. Shang gives her a smile, heartfully smile, then leaves. Mulan smiles and Mushu approaches ecstatic. Mushu, did I hear that right? You, the sword, the big guy? Mulan nods. I knew we could do it. All you had to do... Wait, no, my bad. I knew we could do it. All you had to do was trust me. Mulan. We did it. That's right. You're the man. Well, sort of. Mushu starts to dance victorious as Mulan grabs her side. Hey Mulo, help me pick up my victory pose. What you think? Mulan. Oh. Mushu looks up at her. Mulan? At the campfire, Shang and the man laugh, looking at Shan Yu's sword. Khan whinnies. Shang turns to see Mulan double over into the snow. He hurried to see. Ping, what's wrong? He stopped as he sees blood on her side. He's wounded. Get help. Mulan looked grongily at Shang, her vision blurring. Ping, hold on. Hold on. Close on his mouth as it goes out of focus. Yao Ling and Shampoo sit in front of the tent as Shang paces awaiting the medic's diagnosis. Mushu and the cricket pace in a circle off to the side. Finally, the medic exits the tent. He solemnly approaches Shang and tells him something. Shang steps back in shock, then enters the tent. The gang of three look at each other apprehensively. Mulan lies on a cot. She looks up to see Shang, slowly moving towards her. Mulan gives him a soft, groggy smile, then freezes as she sees how angry he looks. She reflectively touches her chest and looks down to see bandage wrapped around her torso. She's been discovered. She covers herself. Mulan. I can explain. Jifu bursts into the room. He looks at Mulan in horror. So it's true. Shang starts to leave. Shang! The rest of the troops have gathered. They watch in shock as Chifu exits the tent holding Mulan. I knew there was something wrong with you. A woman. Treacherous swine. He throws her to the ground as the man gives in utter disbelief. Mulan. My name is Mulan. Chifu, high treason. I did it to save my father. Ultimate dishonor. It was the only way. Please believe me. Chifu gets in Shang's face. Carry out the penalty. Captain. Shang sees Mulan laying on the ground defenseless. The gang of three move to protect her, but Chifu cuts them off. Chifu, you know the law. Mulu looks up to see Shang standing above her, his sword drawn. Mulan awaits her punishment, staring at him through moist eyes, then drops her head. Shang shows his sword in the snow and turns away from her. Shang, move out. Shifu, but you can't just... I said, move out. Quietly threatening. The soldier solemnly leaves camp, avoiding eye contact with Mulan. Shang rides up, Khan beside him. He doesn't look at her. Shang, a life for a life. Turning, my debt is repaid. He gives her Khan's reins. Mulan looks up in pain. Shang, Haya, as she watches him ride off. Close on a fire, pull back to reveal the cricket tossing twigs into the flame. Mulan huddles beside it, and Khan's covers her with a blanket. The cricket crawls in next to Mulan. Out to the side, Mushu breaks a roasting stick from a tree. Mushu. I was this close to impressing their ancestors, getting the top shelf on Entourage. All my fine work, poof! Mushu spares the dumpling and goes to roast it beside Mulan. Mushu. Hi, Mulan. I should have never left home. He checks his dumpling. Mushu. Hey, come on. You want to save your father's life. Who knew you'd end up shaming him, disgracing your ancestors, and losing all your friends? You just gotta learn to let these things go. He let out a small sob. Maybe I didn't go for my father. Maybe what I really wanted was to prove I could do things right. So when I look in the mirror, I see someone worthwhile. She looked at her reflection in the helmet. But I was wrong. I see nothing. She blinks back tears as she lets the helmet roll from her hands. Mushu, touched by her sadness, picks it up and spits on it. Mushu, well, that's just 'cause this needs a little spit, that's all. Let me shine. It's up for you. Here, look at you. You look so pretty. He shows her the helmet, only she doesn't look. Mushu stares at the reflection in Mulan's helmet. Then, Mushu, look, the truth is we're both frauds. The ancestors never sent me. They didn't even like me. You risked your life to help people you love. I risked your life to help myself. At least you had good intentions. What do you mean you're not lucky? So all this time I've been dragging around a dud? What are you, a sheep? Mulan. I guess we go home now. I'll have to face my father sooner or later. Mushu looks up there and approaches her. Don't worry, okay? We started this together. And that's how we'll finish it, I promise. He hugs her. As Shan Yu Falcon flies over the dejected trio, a vast expanse of whiteness. As shadow folds across it, it's the Falcon searching through the debris for something or someone. Ice smashing as Shan Yu's arm thrusts through the snow. The Falcon screeches and dies. Shan Yu climbs out of the grave and surveys the damage around him. All his men are lost. Shan Yu howling. A large shield embedded in the snowbank suddenly falls. The other side. A Hun emerges. Walks as he passes a cart. Another Hun bursts from within. The wheel of the cart rolls down a ravine, revealing two more Huns climbing up. Their eyes icy as one spits out his tooth and another grabs the sword from a frozen gloved hand. They approach Shan Yu, who sees that his elite squad is alive. Perfect. He turns and heads towards the distant lights of the Imperial City for his men and with a smile. On the mountaintop, Mulan and Mushu watch them in fear. Mushu's jaw is dropped. Mushu. Wow. Quick, the frost. Mulan runs back to Khan, picking up the sword Shan left behind. She rushes to Khan. Mulan. Come on! We have to warn them! Mushu. No, we do. No, we don't. But she's already on Khan. Mushu. Did you see those Huns? They pop out of the snow like daisies. Why do you always have to be so stubborn? And how stupid am I for following you? Enter the Imperial City. The beautiful city flies in the air. Pan down to reveal a large crowd of people lining the streets of the Imperial City. Guard. Make way for the heroes of China. Crowd. Hooray! Hail the saviors of China. Mulan peers through the crowd as Shang rides by on his horse. Shampoo, Ling Yao, and the rest of the men march solemnly behind him. Mulan, Shang! Shang and the gang of three stop and turn in surprise. Mulan? The Huns are alive. They're in the city. Shang, what? You don't belong here, Mulan. Go home. Shang, I saw them in the mountains. You have to believe me. Why should I? Why else would I come back? You said you trust pain. Why is Mulan any different? He remains silent. If you won't believe me, take this. You'll need this. Mulan tosses Shang his sword. He catches it. Mulan. Hey-ya! Mulan gallops away into the crowd. Huge drum sounds from the fireworks tower. Thunderous fires are set off. On the platform, the Emperor appears to the magnificent robes on Mulan. Making her way through the crowd, frantically searching for the Huns, she jumps off Khan. Mushu, hey, where are you going? Mulan, to find someone who'd listen. To find someone As Mulan rushes towards the crowd, Shang makes his way up to the stairs towards the Emperor, Shan Yu's sword on his hand. A paper dragon follows him closely. On the dais, the drum stop and a loud gong resounds. The Emperor stands at the front of the platform, addresses the vast silent crowd. Emperor, my child, heaven smiled down upon the Middle Kingdom. China will sleep safely tonight. Thanks to our brave warriors, the Huns have been vanquished. Mulan approaches the man and his family. Mulan, sir, the Emperor is in danger. The man pushes Mulan's hand away and turns his back on her. But the Huns are here, she pleads with another man in the crowd. Please, you have to help. The second man ignores her. Mulan turns to Mushu. Mulan, they won't listen. That's 'cause you're a girl now. Shang steps forward, holding Shan Yu's sword. He kneels and holds the sword high in the air. Shang, Your Majesty, I present you the sword of Shang Yu. He affords the sword to the Emperor. The Emperor, I know what this means to you, Captain Li. Your father would have been proud. As Shang begins to hand him the sword, the falcon suddenly swoops down, flying off with the sword. He releases it above the palace. A statue on the rooftop reaches its hand up and catches the sword. It's Shan Yu. Shan Yu stands and raises the sword above his head. On the street, Mulan, Mushu, and the crowd stares in horror. Shang and the Emperor look up toward the roof. Behind Shang, the Huns slash around the Chinese paper dragon. They're quickly overtaking Shang, leaving him on the dais. The elite Huns rush the Emperor and carry him inside the palace. Shang pulls himself up amongst the tattered paper dragon and sees the Emperor's head. Shang, no! On the lower dais, Ling, Shampoo, and Yao run to help Shang. Yao, come on! At the palace door, Shang arrives just as an enormous wooden door slams shut and lock. Sid pan up to see Shan Yu's laughing out loud, literally. The palace door. Shang, Ling, Shampoo, Yao, and the other swords tip over a giant Fuda and use it as a battering ram. On the steps of the dais, Mulan and Mushu watch the troops vain an attempt to knock down the door. Mushu, I think I know that dog. Mulan, we never get in that way. She stares at things, staring at a man. Then Mulan, hey, I've got an idea. Shampoo and Yao look at one another. They run after Mulan. Shang stumbling watches them. Clothes on her face with stubble, being patient with lip pain. Clothes on bracelets being slipped into hairy forearms. Medium shot of Link's torso as he places apples in his tunic for breasts. He adjusts them. Closes on a wig being placed on Champoo's bald head. Mulan, beautiful in a simple dress, open a drape to reveal Ling, Yao, and Shampoo in a drag. Together, they walk toward the edge of the palace and remove their sashes. Each one throws their sash around the bottom of the pillar, then look to Mulan. She feels a tap on her shoulder. She turns to see Shang. He removes his cape and wraps it around a pillar, ready to follow her lead. As the 5 soldiers use their sashes to climb the pillars, the way Mulan climbed during the pole training, the twin elite Huns drag the Emperor to the end of the tower in view of the crowd. Shang Yu suddenly appears hanging upside down from the alcove. He smiles at the Emperor, then quickly lands in front of him. Shang Yu, guard the door. They move out as Shang Yu sizes up the Emperor. Yu stoically stares forward. Shang Yu, how disappointing. These people fear you. They respect me. Shang Yu, fools. Now bow down and I'll make this quick. Shang Yu draws his sword, points it at the Emperor on a parallel parapet. Mulan, Shampoo, Ling, and Yao run to their positions. Mulan, we're almost there. Any questions? Yeah, does this just make me look fat? Shampoo, yeah, we have more important things to worry about. Yeah, easy for you to say. Your outfit is very flattering. Perfect for day or night. Inside the parapet, the elite Huns close the door. Around the corner, Mulan peeks at the Huns. Ling, are these disguises really necessary? Mulan, trust me. We're as good as invincible. Mulan holds her fan in front of her face and heads towards the Huns. The others follow. Outside the tower door, the lead Huns hear giggles. The Hun archer draws his sword, but the biggest Hun stops him as the 4 women approach. Biggest Hun concubines. twin Huns, ugly concubines. The men in drag demurely stop in front of the Huns. Battling their eyes, the biggest Hun flirts back at one of the twin Huns, elbowing him in disgust. Mulan, Yao, Ling, and Champu turn their back to the Huns and quickly reach into their tunics, pulling out watermelons and apples. The Falcon sees Shang hiding behind a pillar. He begins to call when he's muffled from behind by Mushu. He smiles at the bird. Mushu, Osi, I caught me a turkey. In the palace hallway, the gang of three turn around with fruit in hand, catching the Huns off guard. Shampoo breaks a watermelon over each of the elite Huns' head, knocking them out. Ling jams an apple in the swordsman's Han's mouth, then kicks him in the midsection and cracks his back with his head. Yao dodges a punch from the biggest Han and hits him in the stomach. Picking him up, Yao flips him over his shoulder. Crunch. The archer Huns aims an arrow at Mulan. She falls to the ground and kicks him. She springs up and smashes the Hun in the face with the ball of her head. Mulan. Shang, go! Shang runs towards the tower door. The Imperial Palace Tower. Shan Yu faces the Emperor. Your walls have fallen, so shall you bow down to me. The Emperor remains absolutely still. No matter how the wind howls, a mountain cannot bow to it. Shan Yu, then you will kneel. Shan Yu raises his sword in pieces. As Shan Yu begins his fatal blow, Shang blocks his sword with a clang. He rolls and donkey kicks Shan Yu, sending the Han against the pillar. Shang thrusts his sword at him, but Shan Yu catches the blade and pulls Shang off the tower. Shang grabs the pillar, swings around, and kicks Shan Yu, then pins him. Mulan, Yao Ling, and Shampoo run into the room. Mulan throws her sash over a banner hanging from a pillar. Mulan. Shampoo, get the Emperor. Shampoo picks up the Emperor. Excuse me, Your Majesty. Shampoo takes the Emperor to the edge of the tower. He uses the sash and banner as a zip line, sliding with the Emperor down to safety. Shan Yu, no! Ling and Yao quickly follow down the line. Shan Yu kicks Shang off of him from the zip line. Zhao zooms down, calling back to Mulan. Come on! Back in the tower, Shan Yu delivers a devastating blow to Shang, sending him flying out into the hall. He turns towards Mulan. She looks down to see Shan Yu's sword a few feet away. As Shan Yu heads to the zip line, Mulan dives for his sword and cuts the zip line. Shan Yu forcibly shoves Mulan aside, grabs his sword, and looks over the edge, searching for the Emperor. Outside, the zip line falls to the ground. The Emperor lost in the sea of thousands. Back in the tower, Shan Yu anger turns to rage. Shan Yu, grah! Mulan steadies herself against the pillar. Shan Yu, let your people hide you. They'll fall by my bed till I find you. From behind, he hits with Mulan's slipper. Mulan, haven't enough life been lost? Mulan puts her hair up to look as she did when the first encountered Shan Yu in the mountains. His face falls in recognition. Shan Yu, the soldier from the mountain. Mulan turns and runs down the palace hallway. Shan Yu, He grabs his sword and chases Mulan. Inside the palace hallway, Mulan runs into Shang. Mulan, Shang! Shang sees and hears Shan Yu cutting a destructive path down in the hallway. Mulan, you got to get out of here! Shang, I have to stop Shan Yu. Shang starts to head back. Mulan grabs him. Mulan, Shang, he'll kill you! Then flattens him with a punch. Mulan, sorry, but I'll stop him my way. As Mulan continuously down the hallway, she runs into Mushu. riding the plucked falcon. Mulan grabs Mushu by the neck. Mulan, Mushu! Mushu choke. Mulan, I need your help. Shan Yu pursues Mulan, destroying everything in his path. As he slashes wildly at Mulan, he cuts through a pillar that crashes through a wall, providing an escape route for Mulan. She crawls out into the pillar and sees the fireworks tower. Mulan, do you feel lucky? Cricket vigorously nods his head. Yes. As Shan Yu gets closer, Mulan whispers to Mushu. Mushu, are you nuts? That's suicide. Mulan, just do it! Mulan throws Mushu into the air. He lands on a large kite and flies towards inside the fireworks. Towards Mushu, inside the fireworks tower. Mushu gets the attention of the fireworks attendant. Mushu, citizens, I need firepower. Fire attendant 1. Ah, fire attendant 2. Who are you? Mushu uses the kite as giant wings. Mushu, like Batman, your worst nightmare. Frightened, the fireworks attendants jump out of the tower in the street. The crowd looks up. Person in street number 1. On the roof. Person in street number 2. Look. On the roof. Mulan crawls out onto the roof there. She eyes the fireworks tower ahead of her. Shang Yu smashes through the roof. Jumping in front of her, she's trapped. She searches for a wagon, but only finds a fan. She pulls it out, opens it fearfully. She watches Shan Yu approaches. Shan Yu, it looks like you're out of ideas. Shan Yu stabs his sword through the fan. Slow motion as she rips through the painted piece of silk. Mulan snaps the fan shut on the blade. Torques it from his hand and catches the sword. Mulan, not quite. Ready, Mushu? At the end of the roof, Mushu rips off the kite wings, exposing a rocket strapped to his back. Mushu, ready, baby. Mushu lights a stick and hands it to Cricket. Mushu, light me. Shan Yu lunges at Mulan. She avoids the blow and uses the sword as a vault to deliver a kick to Shan Yu's chin. She falls to the roofs, sweeps her feet, knocking Shan Yu's leg out from under him. Cricket lets the rocket fuel. It speeds up towards Shan Yu and Mulan. Mulan plants the sword in Shan Yu's tunic, sticking him into the roof. Mulan uses the sword to launch herself into the air, kicking Shan Yu on the way. She somersaults over the rockets. Snatching Mushu off mid-air, they land safely as the rocket smashes into Shan Yu. Shan Yu, carries him off the roof towards the fireworks tower. Mulan runs with all her might. Mulan gets off the roof. Get off the roof. Get off the roof. Mulan, get off the roof. Get off the roof. Get off the roof. Those on Shan Yu horrified as he slams into the fireworks tower, sending up a wild of the world's hugest explosion. Fireworks shoots off amidst a towering giant fireball. Shang staggers up in a palace, blows up behind him. Mulan flies through the air and lands on Shang, taking him down the stairs. Mushu and Cricket drops from the sky. Mushu looks at the black smoke streaming from the right wing Imperial Palace decimated. Mushu, now that's what I call a Mongolian barbecue. Mulan lies over Shang as millions of fireworks light the sky around them. Shang smiles at Yao. Ling and Shampoo comes up the stairs to join them. Shifu emerges from the smoke, his hat smoldering. Shifu, where is she? Now she's done it. What a mess. He tries to reach Mulan. Only the men stand protectively around her. Shifu, stand aside. The creatures now were protected. Shang, she's a hero. Shifu, she's a woman. She'll never be worth anything. Shang grabs him. Shang, listen, you pompous Emperor, that is enough. The men in Mulan turn to see the Emperor, suddenly approaching. Shang, Your Majesty, I can explain. The Emperor holds up his hand and waves them aside. They part, revealing Mulan. She nervously bows her head. Emperor, I've heard a great deal about you, Fa Mulan. You stole your father's armor, ran away from home, impersonated a soldier, received your command in office. Officer, dishonored the Chinese army, destroyed the army, destroyed my palace, and Mulan lowers her eyes, shaking in fear. You have saved us all. Mulan looks up at the emperor. He smiles, then does the unthinkable. He bows to her. Shifu, in shock, can only do the same. Shang, Yao, Shifu, Ling bow as well. In fact, Mulan watches in shock as the entire plaza begins to bow and cheer. In the plaza, Khan lowers his head. Mushu and the cricket sit on the saddle. Continue. Mushu. I've done such a good job. The cricket whacks him. Mushu. Ow, what? The Emperor noticed. Shifu steps forward. Your Excellency. Emperor, see to it that this woman is made a member of my council. Shifu can hardly contain his shock. Shifu, what? Is there no council position open? Very well, you can have this job. What? My... Shifu faints and falls down the stairs, his ink spilling everywhere. With all due respect, Your Excellency, I think I've been away from home long enough. Emperor reaching around his neck. Damn. Take this so your family know what you have done for me. Mulan gratefully accepts his gift, and this so the world will know that what you have done for China. Mulan holds it reverently, then throws her arms around the Emperor. The Emperor reacts, pleasantly surprised. Yeah, is she allowed to do that? Mulan turns to the gang of threes and hugs each one. Ling sneaks to the end of the line, receiving another hug. Yao, hey, you too. As they start to fight, Shampoo grabs Yao. Shampoo, Yao, relax and chant with me. Mulan turns to Shang. They awkwardly regard each other. Mulan look at him in anticipation. Shang, you're shaking her hand. You fight good. Mulan, trying to hide her disappointment. Oh, thank you. Shan doesn't know what else to say. Mulan turns and mounts Khan. Mulan, Khan, let's go home. As they ride off to the cheers of the crowd. Shan watches Mulan deftly. The Emperor appears beside him. Emperor, the flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all. Shang, Your Majesty? Emperor, you don't meet a girl like that every dynasty. And all Shang thoughtfulness. Mulan stands at the gate to see her father sitting under a cherry blossom. A slight breeze blows a blossom into Fa Xiao's lap. He looks at it tenderly as Mulan approaches, carrying Shan Yu's sword. Fa Xiao looks up and sees her. Fa Xiao, Mulan? Before he can rise, Mulan kneels before him. Mulan, Baba! She presents the sword to him and bows. I brought you the sword of Shan Yu and the crest of the Emperor. Their gift to honor the Fa family. Fa Xiao suddenly takes and puts it aside. He pulls Mulan to him, gathers her in a heartful embrace. Fa Xiao, the greatest gift and honor is having you for a daughter. I miss you so. Mulan, I miss you too, Baba. As they hug, Fa Li and grandmother Fa happily watch the reunion. Remember, great, she brings home a sword. It'd be nice if she brought home a man. Pardon me, I'm Captain Li Shang. Shang approaches them. Does Fa Mulan live here? Fa Li and grandmother Fa stare at him silently for a moment, and pointed in unison towards the garden. As she steps past them, Shang enters the garden and walks up to Fa Zhao. Shang, Honorable Falzia, Shang stops as he sees Mulan approaching. Shang, to Mulan, I know I'm breaking tradition by coming here like this, but I was hoping. Mulan smiles at him. Yes? Shang, yes? As Mulan and Shang smile, sorry, don't just stand there, invite him to dinner. At the window, Mushu and the first ancestor watch Mulan, Shang, and Fazia walk towards the moon gate. Mushu, well, come on, who did a good job? Who did a good job? I was like, oh, alright. You can be a guardian again. Mushu, what? You can be a guardian again. What? Hit it, Cricket. Cricket rings the gong and wakes up the other guardians. Mushu hops back onto his spot. Mushu, guard the fort, cause I am back. Guardian. Guardian! Cheers and begin to celebrate. Guardians, Mushu looks through the window and catches Mulan's eye and smiles. As the temple begins to rock, the Mushu swings by on a rope right into the great stone dragon. Badly put together. Mushu, Stony, good to see you. You're looking great, buddy. Mosaic. As the great stone dragon growl fades out over Mushu. Easy boy, it wasn't me who did this. It was a cricket. Can't trust those bugs. And off Mushu laughed and the cricket chirped. That